Hello, dreamers. Perla here. As always, thank you for your love and support. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing to the channel. And if you haven't done so, go ahead and do so. We would love to have you. So, we're going to start off with Aries, Taurus, cusp. There is a sense here of like, there's somebody that is. Somebody that is surrounding you, or somebody that is the way that is coming in is like infiltrate. They're trying to infiltrate a certain type of group or a certain type of like a certain type of group dynamic, like whether it is somebody that's trying to become friends with like you and your friends, somebody that is dating like a family member of yours that wants to become part of the family. And the reason why this is coming up is because um there is this energy where you are picking up that this person is fake, or this person is trying a little too hard, or there's something about this person that's just not sincere. And some of you are debating whether to talk to this family member or to a friend that is trying, like, again, there's like it may be a friend of a friend that, this friend of yours wants to bring somebody in, like, let's say, like, if you have a group of girlfriends and stuff that you guys get together, and it's like, oh, I know, this person, I think they will be a good addition, and you're just like, there's something about this person that's just not sitting right with you. And for a lot of you, when you go ahead and you speak up in this energy, you are going to get pushback to whoever it is that you're talking. So if you're telling a friend like, oh yeah, I'm not comfortable with this person coming over to my house, like, they're going to be like, oh, why do you have to be so jealous, why are you so antisocial, etc. If this is a family member, again, be aware of how you're going to address the conversation. So, like, let's say if your sibling is dating somebody, you just feel that something is off, like, it's just there. It's like you'll be blinded not to see that there's something off with this person. And it's like, if you go ahead and you tell this family member, like your sibling or whatever, be like, hey, I don't think that this person is good for you or whatever, you're gonna get pushback because this person is very much infatuated with this person at the moment. So whatever you say is not gonna register, it's not going to be received well. So do with that information whatever you may. Some of you are still going to go ahead and speak up on it, and some of you are just going to allow this person's mask to fall on its own, right? And sometimes that is the best thing that you can do for like a family member, for a friend or whatever, is to take a step back. When I'm a huge believer that when people are ready to receive the truth within a situation, it is when the truth is actually revealed to them, right? Not a minute earlier, not a minute later. And that is kind of like why you I'm sorry, I just read a message. um there is, like, again, it's like, it's kind of like this energy of, this is one of those things that you're going to have to sit out. Like, it's best if you don't get involved. It is best if you do not um try to make this person like reason, or try to make this person see who someone truly is, right? So, like, and again, it can be any family member or any friend, but there is somebody that you're seeing that they are connected with somebody that is no good for them. And um this is one of those that you're just gonna have to sit out, and you're gonna have to just allow people, let's put it this way, to learn the lessons on their own. As much as you want to intervene in this, again, I feel that if you do voice your opinion on this, you're in essence being the one, like, being pushed out, or you're the one that is being seen as the negative aspect, or the negative part of the equation, or something of that matter. So, again, and everything that I say from personal experience. Sometimes you just have to let people fall into the holes that they've dug for themselves, and, you know be there if they ask for help, and if there's any way that you can help them at that point, then you do. And sometimes even then, you're not even meant to help them get themselves out of that hole. All righty. Let's go ahead and let's put out an oracle. We have the dragon horde, protecting the future. So with the number 12, so again, you're being asked to be aware of how it is that you're managing the situation, because speaking out on a connection, whether it's a friendship or a relationship, that you feel that somebody is not being 100%, it can cause issues for you. It can cause the dynamic of your relationship with the person that you're talking to, right? Like, you're telling them, like, hey, I don't think this person is good for you. Like, you're jeopardizing that connection, because that person is not ready. They're not ready to hear the truth, and they're not ready for your assistance. Taurus, Gemini, cusp. Taurus, Gemini. There. Can you not this week? Can you not? I keep on seeing. I remember seeing like this picture, this meme of like a guardian angel, like kind of like with his head in his hand, and like on his knees, like kind of like seriously, like there is this energy that a lot of you guys, you just need to like you need to take like a chill pill when it comes to certain things. Um, you need to take a chill pill when it comes to trying to fight everyone else's battle. And yeah, yes, a lot of the times we see things, we see people, especially like friends and family members, etc., that are in situations that are unfair, and are in situations that are um in certain hardships and things like that. But what you have to understand, or what you have to come to realize this week, is that you cannot be everyone's savior, because you're going into these spaces of trying to rescue everyone. And as you're doing that, you are neglecting yourself. Um, you're neglecting going, why is it coming in that way? You're neglecting going in deeper within yourself. So, like, some of you use the excuse of helping others so that you don't have to go and meet, process, deal with, whatever you want to call it, the things that are trying to surface within you, right? And there has to be like, again, everything in life is about finding this perfect balance, this balance, this perfect dance with life, right? With the things that we give ourselves to, with the things that we receive, and etc. And for a lot of you, you're constantly giving so much of yourself, but it is a defense mechanism that you developed early on, so that then you don't have to address the things that are surfacing on for you. Does that make sense? So there is this needing to ask yourself this week, like, am I really helping? Like, is this really where my energy should be invested, right? Like, and again, these are just example. Like, you have a friend or whatever, a family member that is always, they don't know how to budget, so every at the end of every week or every month, they're coming to you, venting to you about like how they're short on something, but then you just saw that they just spent like $200-300 on like fast food, right? Like the entire week, when they could have easily cooked. And it's like, at that point, you have to realize that this person doesn't need rescuing. This person needs to take accountability and responsibility for their own budgeting and their own things. But then you're there trying to make a budget for them, trying to do all of these things, knowing that this person is not going to follow through with it, right? And it's a kind of like that has been the energy that you have been in. This is what you've been doing. It's like trying to rescue people that, first of all, they do not need rescuing. A lot of these people have put themselves in these positions. A lot of these people have created these situations for themselves, and it's like you're here trying to save them, when there's other things that need your attention, things that are directly affecting you. So we have to stop talking, shut your mouth, and listen. Okay, some of you really need to start listening to the guidance the spirit is giving you. Some of you really need to learn to use your listening ears, your inner ears, what I tell my kids, right? Don't effing force it. Allow that to come to you, right? And again, a lot of you are just running away from something. There's something that the spirit is helping you and guiding you through this time to release, something that is no longer serving you. And a lot of you are, by running away, by wanting to rescue other people, are not allowing this ending to finish with this energy. Heidi. So let's go ahead and let's see. Give me an oracle card for Taurus, Gemini. We have the mindful group thinking. And right behind it, which I usually don't take two cards, is the falling angel spiritual narcolepsy. Now, for those of you that have been following me for a while, you are aware I was diagnosed with narcolepsy, with cataplexy, years ago. So what is narcolepsy? Narcolepsy is the as a definition, is the inability of controlling your wake and sleep cycle. Um, where again, some of you are falling into the space of, when I think about like narcolepsy, right? It's like this involuntary sleep that happens at like inappropriate times or whatever. And some of you, like, it's like you're intentionally causing these episodes by, again, it's like the sleeping for you is the wanting to rescue others. The sleeping for you is the constantly going externally when you're being asked to go within, right? And with this group thinking is this energy of like, if you really allow yourself to sit with yourself, then you'll be able to connect with spirit in a way where you start to feel that oneness energy, when you start to really realize what life is really about, and not necessarily stay in this energy of this, like the spiritual narcolepsy energy that a lot of you have been in. And again, this is this spiritual narcolepsy energy is a self-imposed energy when it comes to you guys, because again, something starts to surface up and you guys shut it down by saying, oh, I'll deal with it later, this person needs me, this person needs you. No, you need you right now, my love. Gemini, Cancer, Gemini, Cancer, cusp. You're standing, and this energy is coming up like you're standing up to your bully, is what I'm picking up. Whether this is a like an authority figure, whether this is a parent or a sibling or whatever, you're standing up to somebody that has been bullying you in some way. This can be in a relationship. Whom it is, again, these are collective readings. It is the energy that I'm picking up. So you're breaking your silence in regards to the way somebody has been treating you and the way somebody has been talking to you, the way that somebody has been acting around you. Again, this person may have been saying things in, I feel like this person uses a sarcasm a lot to make you feel some type of way, to kind of tear you down, if that makes any sense. Or these like left-handed comments, where they can, they can say something like, oh, your hair, you look pretty today, but if you did like, it's like they can't just give you a compliment, they also have to find something to criticize at the same time. This is why I'm very much picking up, I don't know, like an authority figure, as like as a parent or something, or this energy of like maybe a significant other. And if you are with somebody like that, I really urge you to really ask yourself why you're with someone like that. And again, there's no shame here, no blaming or anything like that, but there comes a time when we start to realize who people really are, and when the blinders are taken off and we see someone for who they truly are, and we choose to continue on with a certain connection. At that point, the only person responsible is going to be you, because spirit has shown you who someone truly is, and you are choosing to, again, like focus on the potential, focus on all of this other stuff, instead of seeing the reality of something, seeing the reality of someone. So for a lot of you, whoever this bully is like you're finally, it's not that you're finally seeing the truth of this person, it is that you're finally in a space of wanting to no longer continue to contribute to a certain connection with this person, whether that is romantic or platonic. And it is what it is. Like, sometimes sometimes, in order for foundations to break down, to be broken down, in order to build something new, we have to really stop lying to ourselves, and we really have to accept the truth of something, regardless of how painful it is at that moment in time. Like I always ask people, like, I'm one that I rather have the truth regardless of how painful it is, than have like a beautiful lie. Like, I don't want to live a lie, not with myself, not with anyone else. And therefore, like, this energy of transparency is something that I always strive for, because that is exactly what I want to receive from others. And for a lot of you, is like spirit is letting, like, people's masks are falling off. They're showing who they truly are. And for whatever the reason in the past, you neglected to see it. Or you kind of turned your face, or you turned your eye, whatever. You chose not, you chose to see the potential of someone's change, or the potential of someone's changing, or something of that matter. But the more that you stayed within a certain connection, the more that you saw that nothing was going to change. Like, the reason why the blinders came off, the reason why something was shown to you, it was not so that you can live in fantasy of what of the what if, like, this person changes or something, but it was for you to see the reality of this person. And relationships and dynamics do change. We have the number 19. This came out for the sign prior to you guys. The spiritual narcolepsy, right? What is it that you're failing to see? What is it that you're failing to really wake up to? What is it that you're staying asleep in? What is it that you're choosing not to see the reality, not to wake up to? Ask yourself that, baby. Cancer, Leo, cusp. This week there is a forward movement when it comes to your finances. there's a side of relief. There, whether it was money that somebody owed you or something that was held back. This energy of like money that was and I'm gonna say it the way that it's coming up. It's like money that was held hostage. However, it was being held hostage, whether it was you coming into alignment with the money, whether it was literally somebody that owed you money or something of that matter. But there is this forward movement when it comes to your finances. Um, Again, it's like something that it's almost kind of like an unexpected check or an unexpected something. A quick example, like a few months ago, you know how sometimes you sign up for like different like in different websites and this and that, and it's like certain what was I gonna say? Wait. You know how sometimes like certain websites or certain apps or whatever sometimes charge you money that you're not even aware because they're not charging you a lot. They're charging you like 30 cents here, a dollar here, whatever. But it ends up accumulating throughout the years or whatever. And I don't know what it was. It was a website I visited, I don't know how many years ago, and I didn't think anything of it. And then like a few months ago, I got a check for like a couple of thousands, and I'm like, where's this coming from? And then it was like I had checked something out, and I think I had purchased something or whatever, but they kept charging me like throughout the years, and they were charging me. It was like literally like small amounts, like 30 cents here, a dollar here, $2 here, and it wasn't consecutive. It was like 1 month or every other month or whatever, and it was like in a, such a sporadic way and whatever. Somebody did a lawsuit against them, and whoever was affected by the company received a check. So that's kind of like what I'm talking about, like those unexpected money or something like that that is coming in for you guys. You are being told to pay a little bit more attention to your budget. Some of you have been falling into this, we're gonna call it a lie. I guess we're gonna call it a lie. You've been falling into the lie or the temptation of like the holiday shopping, the Christmas shopping, the wanting to overdo it, the wanting to over everything, and it's like there's this overconsumption during this time is something that you know what the energy is right behind it, and you know the like okay, why is it coming up that way? The like you need to be a little bit more aware of where you're spending not just your money energetically, but where you're spending your energy as well. Because there is this stress surrounding the holidays and wanting to have everything perfect and wanting to have all of these things. And it's like, with this unexpected money that is coming in, it is not for you to blow it up, to blow it on unnecessary things. This, like, regardless of how much is coming in, it is something that you should really consider. Because again, I'm not going to tell you what to do. You should really consider putting some into like a savings account, or into an emergency fund. And if you don't have an emergency fund, maybe this money that is coming in is a great opportunity for you to do this. Because again, during this time, during the holidays, you guys kind of go a little cray cray. You guys kind of like lose. It's kind of like you lose touch with reality when it comes to your budget, when it comes to your bank account, and and you don't want to spend the next 3 months, the first 3 months of the year, catching up paying bills on crap that you bought that were completely unnecessary. So you do with that information whatever you may. You take the advice if you want. If not, go on a shopping spree, and love it and enjoy it, and then pay the consequences at the beginning of the year. And that's kind of like how I'm saying it, because I am picking up this energy of like some of you really getting upset about being called out, but it's like, come on, baby. Like at this point, we already know, like, there's all of these like like all of these tactics, excuse me, that are used for harnessing energies, and some of you are um, still participating in some of these energies. So we have the many mask, the authentic self. And then we also have this one came out in the reverse, 51 stars in the sky, limitless possibilities. So again, stop stop following the masses, stop following the crowds, and instead stand on your own, meaning like be yourself, start making your own choices. Just because so and so is doing this or decorating that way or doing that or buying this for their kids or whatever doesn't necessarily mean that you have to follow suit. Instead, learn to listen to yourself and really learn to pay a little closer attention to, again, your finances, your budget. Leo Virgo. Leo Virgo, you are in the space of wanting to be alone. You're wanting to be isolated. You're pretty much just, you don't want to be around people. You don't want to be bothered. You don't want to be around people. You don't want to talk to anybody. And I wouldn't necessarily, like, I don't know, there's somebody here that is concerned about you being depressed. There's somebody here concerned about you kind of isolating yourself during this time. But I really do feel like there is There's some type of clarity that you have been waiting for from spirit. There's something that you have been trying to have a better understanding of. So whatever this clarity is, and this just took like a dark turn. Okay, whatever this clarity is, it has something to do with um and again, these are collective readings, so if it's not for you, please go ahead and skip on. um this specific clarity that you're waiting has to do with some type of sexual traumatic, like trauma type of energy. This can have easily been like when you were a child, or when you were a teenager. It could have been easily like, it doesn't have to necessarily be like the, um to the extreme. It can have been something as simple as like, somebody touching you like inappropriately, like even in your teens, like, you're walking down the hallway and a guy slaps your ass. Like it can be something as simple as that, or something as deeper as, the R word, RAPE, right? And it's like, and I'm saying it that way because I don't know exactly what is and what's not allowed on YouTube, because you guys know I be in and out of YouTube and I have no idea what I'm allowed to say when it comes to certain words. So it can be something that simple or something that extreme, right? And there is this, you're waiting for the clarity of how that single experience, or that first experience, let's put it this way, if it was more than once, had, like, how it created a domino effect, not only on how you have relationships with people of the opposite sex, but also how you show up in platonic relationships, but most importantly how you show up for yourself, because there is something within this space that the spirit is revealing to you, and there is going to be like this massive release. So again, to some people it might seem like you are depressed or this and that. You're just wanting to have a better understanding of that how that situation shaped you, and basically like trying, or I don't want to really say trying, because I feel like you have, I don't see you crying about this. I don't see you being upset about it. Like, I feel like most of the healing around this space has been done. This is more of like a, like just a clarity of how everything is connected. I don't like, that's the only way that I can really explain it. Like, as far as like it's coming in, and right now like I'm getting really freaking nauseous. So let me just back off. Um, okay. Yeah, this has more to, the clarity that is coming in has more to do with thyself, not necessarily more, necessarily, or more, let's put it this way, with the dialogue that you used to, because I want to say used to, because I don't see you using this dialogue anymore, the dialogue that you used to use towards yourself, and what it was that you saw in the mirror, when, like, who it was that you saw in the mirror every time you looked at yourself. And this seems very much like the end part of a healing chapter around that traumatic event, if that makes sense. And I'm sorry that your reading took that little dark turn, but that is what I wanted to come up for you guys. All right, give me closing card for Leo Virgo. Closing card. We have the perfect storm, the courage to step into life, number 44. And it couldn't be more perfect for you guys. You're having the courage to not just accept that something happened, or just knowing that something happened, but you're going deep into this because you are really wanting to be as healed and as whole as you can from this situation, from this traumatic situation happening. Okay. Virgo, Libra, you're gonna have a falling out with somebody this week, whether it is just a simple argument, or somebody move, like, for those of you that are in a relationship, it's going to get to the point where somebody even wants to move out, or somebody wants some type of distance. So just be aware of that. There is nothing that, and I'm being completely honest, there's nothing that you can do to avoid the argument. Now, as far as what happens after the argument, then that's, completely, excuse me, those are energies that can be influenced. But this argument is uh, why is everything coming in so fast? Probably because of the time. Anyways, this argument is because of finances that someone is giving to someone else. Now let's break that down. You may be with somebody that has kids with somebody that's paying child support, and you're like, well, you're paying child support, why do you have to give more? Or you're dealing with somebody that is helping a parent, a sibling financially, etc., etc. Now, what I want to say to that, because again, everybody has their own thing when it comes to the relationships, but these, let's put it this way, the situation, the financial assistance, excuse me, that your significant other is giving to somebody else was put in place prior to you walking into the picture. So that was a conversation that you should have had at the beginning of the relationship, not now. And again, you can get upset about that, but there has to be there has to be kind of like this, I don't know, this compromise. And I know you don't want to hear it because you're like, well, there, it's bleeding into like our savings, is bleeding into. And again, this is where we're having a conversation where, being completely honest, being, because maybe it is that, you guys can't afford to help with as much as you guys used to. Maybe the amount has to change, but without a conversation is not going to go anywhere. And I pretty much feel like you are saying the way that you're handling the situation, or the way that you're speaking to someone, can have a great like deal, or like, what is the word I'm looking for? A great effect on the outcome. Great effect on the outcome. So instead of coming from a place of like attacking, like, oh, you're always like, just be mindful of the words that you're using when you're addressing this, please, because you're coming out as a little cold hearted. Again, I don't know what your personal situation is financially, what it is that you guys have agreed to or have not agreed to. Again, there was a conversation that should have happened at the beginning of a union, at the beginning prior to moving in with somebody. The conversation was swept under the rug, nobody addressed it, and now we're in this dilemma because again, the the fact that somebody is helping someone else outside of the household is now starting to affect those that live within the household. So you're going to, unfortunately, you don't want to hear it, but you're going to have to be aware of what type of words you're using. Do not let your emotions get in the way so that you can get your point across. Getting emotional and name calling is something that you need to stay away from. uh, and do not compare this situation to other people's situations. So don't be like, oh, my sister or my brother and his wife and my sister and her husband. Like, no, like, let's stay on focus. Let's stay focused with the situation on hand, and let's stay focused with the people involved with the current situation, and let's not bring outside examples during this time. Okay, let's address this directly. Let's talk about it and try and find a compromise. And if a compromise can't be met, then you're going to have to make a choice whether to swallow it and stay in the same situation or walk away from this. And it's your choice at the end of the day, my love. The benefactor, grace and generosity. Grace and generosity. Um, and I'm laughing because it's like, maybe you're being asked to be a little bit more graceful within the situation, and maybe your significant other is being asked to withhold their generosity maybe a little bit more, or to be aware how generous they are. There is this sense of like, you know sometimes certain people need a breakdown of things. Like, not everyone, let's put it this way, Virgo, Libra, not everyone has your common sense. Okay. And if you have been filling in for your significant other, right? Like, you've been covering like a certain portion of whatever, then in a way they may not really know how bad the situation is. So maybe making them aware of how bad a situation is becoming because of this outsourced help that you guys are giving may make them realize that they're being maybe a little bit too generous. Okay. Libra, Scorpio, cusp. Mm, Libra, Scorpio, cusp. You're very much in this, you want to, let's put it this way, you want to be in this energy of rest. you're wanting to get away, whether that's like from work or from your household. It's you're just wanting rest. That's what you're asking for. You're asking spirit for rest. You're asking for guidance on how to get rest on a day to day. There is, for some of you, and again, guys, remember that these are collective readings. For some of you, you're taking care of like a sick family member, and you haven't been able to like take a vacation. You haven't been able to have like a break more than like a couple of hours, right? And oh, excuse me, your body right now is lacking a lot of rest, is lacking a lot of sleep, and you're still pushing through, you're still trying to push through, but there is this sense where your body's letting you know, like, hey, if we don't take like a day at least to just like sleep or like just not do anything like physically or something of that matter, we're gonna crash. And what you have to be aware of is our bodies are constantly letting us know, like, what our limits are, like what is it that we need. And when we don't listen, that's usually when you see people getting sick, when you see people. And I'm not saying that's the only reason. What I'm saying is like the not listening to your body can very much manifest in a way of like feeling sick or getting injured or whatever it is. It's not always the case, but sometimes it is. And your body is trying to prevent, let's put it this way, is trying to prevent a space where you end up like in bed, like sick for like 3 or 4 days or something of that matter. So please listen to it, and try and see how you can fit rest into your life, right? And that may require saying no to certain things. You have a lot on your plate. There's no need for you to take anything else. Um, and to be honest with you, anybody outside of like your immediate family that is coming in asking you for help, knowing how much you have on your plate already, to me that is selfish. To me that is ugh, that is not somebody that I want to have around, right? Because like if I see, let's put it this way, like if I see my sister struggling with whatever, right? And I see that she has like so much on her plate, I'm not gonna come and ask her, like either of my sisters, like, oh, I need help with this or I need help with that. Instead, I'm gonna be like, hey, how can I help you? And that is just like the dynamic of how we're supposed to show up, right? But you are surrounded by people that are pretty much selfish, and regardless of everything that you are managing, there's somebody here that is trying to ask for help, and you're going to have to learn to say no. Learn to say no. Learn to say no, because it is coming at a very heavy cost. Like as I'm like exiting your energy right now, I'm just kind of like I want to get out of your energy because it feels very heavy and it feels very draining. We have the number 32, connectivity, jeweled web. For some of you, you have this misconception, let's put it this way, that you have to show up for everybody or that you have to help everybody, that if somebody's coming for you for help, you are like mandated to help them because otherwise they wouldn't have come to you, that may be true in some cases, but not in all cases. We like, what is it that there's a saying that says the givers are the ones that have to set the boundaries, because takers never do. They will never stop taking, and whoever it is like you almost have this energy of like feeling like you feel obligated to help people around you, and you need to stop that. Scorpio, Sagittarius. Scorpio, Sagittarius. What do we have, baby? What do we have? What do we have? What do we have? You're wanting to party. Mira, I'm gonna say it, and you could get mad at me, but it's Scorpio, Sagittarius. For those of you that have dealt with addiction in the past, whether it is a specific drug or alcohol or like binge eating, whatever it is, be very aware during this time, because you're looking for something to numb you. You're looking for something to numb you, is what I'm picking up. There may have been a recent ending within a certain connection, whether this was romantically or platonic, where there was a third party interference, right? And you're wanting to numb yourself to that ending. You're wanting to numb yourself for a connection that has ended. um and and you have to be aware, and I know that you are, especially like if you're a recovering alcoholic or recovering whatever, of what that situation, like what your triggers are, right? So let's put it this way, I one of my like addictions, let's put it that way, is that I will work myself to death. Like I will stay busy as can be when I want to numb myself, right? Or I would binge watch certain TV shows that I've seen like 100 times, right? To numb myself. So when something is surfacing that wants my attention, and like let's say I'll start watching like an episode, like I'm just gonna throw this out there, like Criminal Minds, right? And I've seen that show I don't know how many times, and I'm watching an episode, and then it's like a second episode is coming, and I'm like, and I will literally like I will look at myself and I'll be like, what are you avoiding, my love? Right? Because sometimes it's something that is creeping up, and I'm not even like I'm not consciously paying attention for whatever the reason. It could have been like I had a rough day or whatever it was, and I'm not paying attention. And then I'm like, okay, now I'm on episode 3, and I'm like, okay, now we really need to get out of this bed, and we really need to address what is it that we are not allowing to surface up. And that's what I'll do. I'll pause the show, I'll turn it off, and I'll sit up and I'll walk, I'll do whatever it is, and I'm like, okay, what wants to come up that maybe my nervous system is not ready to receive? What can I do to get my nervous system ready? What can I do to get my mind ready? What can I like? And again, because a lot of these things tend to creep up without us realizing it, and that's kind of like what you're being asked during this time is like, hey, if you're finding yourself and it usually happens with things that we're even like unaware, right? So like, yeah, if I'm having a stress day and I'm like, oh, I want a cigarette, like I can catch that because I'm not smoking anymore. But when it comes to like watching TV, like when it comes to little subtle things like that, sometimes it's harder to catch or realize that there's something there that is triggering you or something that is wanting your attention. So be very mindful this week of the subtleties from your body, of the subtle changes or the subtle things that you're doing, kind of like in this numbed energy, like this energy where you're really not paying attention. You're just kind of going through the motions, if that makes sense. Okay. And again, this energy of whatever wants to come up is going to be different for all of you. So just honor that space and allow yourself to see what is there. Okay, give me a closing card for Scorpio Sagittarius. Closing card. Oh, so they're all upside down. Excuse me. Whew. Moon Maiden, new beginning, number 41. And this completely makes sense. Whenever we're walking into or we're stepping into like a new beginning, there's always something from the past that needs to be released. There's always like that one little thing, like that little that allows the entire shift to happen. So let it happen, my love. Sagittarius Capricorn. Oh, baby, baby, baby. You're smiling this week. You're smiling, and there's a silent win or silent victory that just has you smiling, and people are curious about what this is. People are curious about why you're smiling, why you're so happy, etc., and you're not saying a word. Whatever this is, you're not announcing it to the world for like another, like I want to say like another month is what I'm picking up. um for some of you, this is going to come in a form of maybe some of you just made a huge purchase, like either you purchase land or you purchase a house, and you're just like, shh, 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 not saying anything just yet. They'll see the post when I post in my new living room or whatever it is. It's that kind of energy. There is um it's kind of like, how people say like, oh, when I win the lottery I won't say anything, but there'll be signs, right? Like whatever that is, right? I always say like, oh, I know when I've made it when I have all my bills on auto pay, because I have every bill except for one on auto pay, right? And well, you don't have to worry about like how much it is because it's just enough funds to pay it. So it's almost kind of like that type of energy, like something has you smiling because something has finally come in, or something has finally manifested. And this is, and and it's not to sound shallow or anything, but this is coming in a form of materialistic. It is something material, it is something tangible, whether it is fine, like whether it is actual like money that is coming in, like some of you may just win a couple of $100,000 like on the lottery. And for others of you, this is like actually like purchasing land, purchasing like a house. It's a big purchase that, again, you're savoring. You're savoring it for yourself. There is this guarded energy of like you're not wanting to share you're not wanting to share the news with certain people. You're not wanting to share the news, especially like if this is you coming into money, whether like an inheritance or again winning some type of money or getting a raise or something. You're guarding something very heavy because you don't want other people to come after. You don't want other people to ask for it. right? So like, let's say if you bought land, like you don't want to tell people like how much land you bought or where you bought the land, because you don't want people to be like, oh, I should come and live on your, like, you know what I mean? Like there's almost kind of like this energy of like you have friends or family members that will invite themselves over to something that is yours. So therefore, you're not wanting to share it with the world. You're being very cryptic about what just came in for you. And there's nothing wrong with that, baby. Protect what is yours. It was given to you for a reason, love. You're in alignment with it, not them. The vanishing mirror. And again, there is this energy like, oh, excuse me, guys. Why am I yawning so much? What time is it? I think it's, no, it's not that late. No, it's not that late. It's only 10:14. Um, there is this sense of, for some of you are keeping this a secret or keeping this hidden for a while, because in the past, whenever you've shared good news, whenever you celebrated your wins, people were saying that you were being egoistic, or that you were being like that you were rubbing it in other people's faces, if that makes sense. When, come over here, mama. Hold on, guys. I gotta fix your dress. When in reality, you were just, oh, excuse me, you were just being grateful for what it was that you had received. So, for some of you, some people may have damped, like, damped your party or burst your bubble whenever you have received stuff in the past. So it's almost kind of like, this is by you not sharing it with other people right away, or not sharing it at all, is a way of you protecting your own, like your own perception of receiving. And I hope that makes sense, because again, in the past, when you celebrated things, people were saying that like you were being egoistic or whatever. Mommy's not done, Zena. Capricorn, Aquarius, cusp. um Capricorn, Aquarius, cusp. You guys seem a little distracted this week. You seem distracted by someone. You seem distracted with, because you're confused about someone. You're confused about a certain type of communication with someone, and you're wanting clarity, but there's also like this underlying, there's an underlying fear of not asking for clarity, because you're afraid of like seeing the truth. So let's say, like, again, this is just an example, guys. Like, you're dealing with somebody, you're talking to somebody, and there has been a couple of like little inconsistency with the person that you're talking to, and you're wanting to really address it, but you're asking spirit, like, oh spirit, if this person is not for me, if this person, like, if there's something here that I'm not seeing, I want to see it, but then you're kind of like, oh, maybe I'm just too much in my head, or maybe this is unhealed trauma, or maybe this is, and it's like, if something is nudging you about something, there's a reason why, right? And whether that is unhealed trauma, or there is actually something there with this person, regardless of what it is, the clarity would come if you ask for it. But some of you are more into the space of wanting to like blame yourself instead of accepting the reality of a person. Does that make sense? So, you know, I'm one that I am very like, regardless of whether it is a romantic interest or a platonic friend. And when anybody enters my life, I always ask for discernment when it comes to seeing who the person really is. And sometimes, not sometimes, I would say, but like 90% of the time, it happens instantaneously. Like within the first, like seriously, the first 30 seconds of meeting somebody, it's like, okay. And sometimes it may take a day. Probably that's probably like the longest, like a day. I'll be like, hmm. And that can be affected by many different things, depending on the environment of how I meet the person, right? Um, and it keeps things interesting, right? And it's almost kind of like, I've learned through the times not to question when certain things surface, because sooner or later, spirit always reveals everything. The truth is always revealed, nothing is hidden. So you can stay in this situation, whoever it is that you're talking to, and ignore the nudges, ignore your intuitive voice is letting you know that something is not right here. This person that you're talking to, whether it's romantic or platonic, there's somebody that likes to, they lie a lot. They're like they're a compulsive liar. They make, oh my god, they make up stuff. Like it's, there's like so much inconsistency within the conversations that you had with them. Like again, this doesn't necessarily have to be like a romantic person. This can be like a coworker, like somebody new that started working, or like somebody that's trying to be friendly or whatever. And it's like they're talking about their life, or they're talking about their past, but there's so much freaking inconsistency that you're just like, this is not somebody that I should be connecting with. This is not somebody that I should be hanging around with. This is not somebody that I should be like romantically trying to engage with. And you can ask for the clarity and get it, boom, right there and then within like the first 30 seconds of asking for it, or you can play the game a little longer and wait until it comes and slaps you in the face, my love. The choice is yours. That's what I say. Spirit of the river, movement towards adventure. Number 15. For some of you, the space in itself of letting people show their true colors, the red flags coming in, etc., is an adventure in itself. But to be honest with you, don't you think that you're ready for something else? Or don't you think that you're ready for a different type of adventure, and not the same repetitive thing where you're continuously connecting to the same type of energy? Okay. Aquarius Pisces. Aquarius Pisces cusp. Cleaning time, resetting, decluttering. You're doing everything and anything that you can to get into alignment. You're doing everything and anything you can to I don't know why I'm yawning so much today. You're decluttering, you're cleaning, you're you're smudging, you're everything, and this heaviness doesn't seem to go away. And I'm gonna say this, and I kind of don't want to, but you know how people like will clean their, and again, we're talking about Perla's personal experience here, because I be out there. But you know how people sometimes clean their house or stage their house and all of this, and I clean, I protect and all of this stuff. But it like there was one time, and this was a while ago, where I was cleaning and I was getting ready to stage, and the person was like, "You're not clean," and I'm like, "What do you mean I'm not clean? I'm clean." Meaning, like, I mean, I had showered and stuff like that. And Spirit led me to make a tea. So I sat in my kitchen and I started grabbing herbs, different types of herbs and stuff, and I made a tea. And prior to staging the house, so like it had been like usually when I stage, I clean. Obviously I clean the house, I clean everything. And I'm always like I've always made sure, like, before I start cleaning, like I have to be showered. Like there's like ritualistic things that I do that I have always done, if that makes sense. But for some reason, for a certain period of time, I felt like I was constantly like saging and cleaning, and I was just like, wait, what is going on? Like, why is the energy continuously like coming back, like after a couple of weeks or whatever? and and again, I was led into like making this tea, and I made this tea, and then I drank it. I meditated and I drank it before I started cleaning and I started saging. Like when I say cleaning, I mean like saging the house and stuff like that. And it was like almost an immediate shift that happened, not just like in the space in the house, but also with me, but also with my kids. Like they were asking me, they were like, "Oh my god, what did you do, mom? Like what did you do, mom? What?" Like everybody in the house felt the shift completely, because again, there was something about like my own energy and the connection with the house, with the land and things like that. And for some of you, like, you're cleaning, you're saging, you're doing all of these things, but within yourself there are energies or things that need to be released, or there's something like, a very easy way to like release or shock certain energies are attached to you and things like that is when you're taking a shower, finish your shower with like with cold water. Like there's different things that you can do, but for some of you, there is this space or this need to like either have like a spiritual bath, or drink some type of like cleansing tea or something of that matter. because you're cleaning the energy outside of you, but the energy inside of you, or your energy, like your energy frequency, is cluttered within itself, and that's what needs addressing. That's what needs adjusting during this time. So they go your bed, Zena. Um, and again, because it's almost kind of like the missing component of it, right? So personally, when I make somebody like a bath, it's a three component. I give them a bath for themselves. I give them a tea that goes with the bath, right? And then they also get a little package of, like, sage and Palo Santo to clean their house. So like, if you're doing a cleansing, whether it is your house, whether it is yourself that you need or whatever, I always say that the three have to be combined. And again, that is just from my own personal preference, my own personal experience, that allows something to just be cleaned or be cleared once and not have to have that repetition. um so maybe that is something that you guys may need. Maybe you have to go ahead and like listen to spirit. Maybe spirit is telling you like, hey, I need you to drink this, I need you to do this, I need you to do that, so that you can finally feel like you're done with the cleansing. Because again, I kind of see somebody here that is doing a lot of, like, I'm just gonna pull it just so you could, a lot of this, but maybe you're saging and you're keeping your windows closed. Like, sweetie, open them windows once you sage. Let that energy out. Don't keep that energy trapped in your house. There's a component or something that you're doing that is working against you instead of for you. The root girl, the disowned self. So you're looking to fix everything outside of yourself, when in reality it is what is inside of you that needs attention. It is what is inside of you that is screaming at you. Sometimes we feel the energy around us is off or whatever, and a lot of the times it's because we are neglecting a certain part of ourselves. So just be aware that you are not neglecting a part of yourself during this time. Pisces, Aries, cusp. um Pisces, Aries, cusp, you are in a very much partying type of energy. I'm picking up a lot of laughter around you, a lot of like high energy. Hold on, guys. This is late. I am picking up this energy of like partying, or this high energy. Maybe this is what you want. Maybe you have been kind of like isolated. Maybe you were isolating yourself, and now you're ready to get back out there. You're wanting to be around people. You're very much not wanting to be alone. There's something about don't run away from being alone. To be honest with you, find a balance. As always, there's a balance here, right? Like, what is the balance? What does that balance look like for you? But do not immerse yourself in a space of being surrounded with people and still feeling alone, right? So know where it is, or who it is that you are engaging with, or who it is that you're connecting with, what kind of crowds you're going into, because there's no point in being surrounded by people and still feeling alone. Yeah, so don't say yes to every invitation because of the fear of being alone. Um, Instead, sorry guys, I dropped some cards. Instead, see who it is that you can connect with. Like, you're needing real connection is what I'm picking up. Like, real meaningful connection is what you're needing. Some of you don't have that. Some of you, like the people that you hang around with, whether family or friends, it's just, it's not the same for you. You're not into like the same things. Like, maybe you are, not smoking anymore, you're not drinking, or you're not like there's a dynamic here that has shifted. There's something shift within you. So there are, like, you're not, your interests don't align with those people that you used to hang out with or that you used to party with. And therefore, like, because you haven't found your tribe, or whatever you want to call it, you stay connected to these people because you don't want to feel alone. But it's like you're not making room to find your tribe. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Is that equivalent of like you wanting to have your cookie and eat it too, and it's like you need to make room for what it is that you're asking for. You need to make room so to receive what it is that you're asking for. um, and don't allow yourself to get persuaded into spaces that you've outgrown and you no longer feel feel connected to. It's a cup. I don't know why I want to pick up two cards, but you guys are getting two cards. We have the crown games, right use of power, and the cosmic womb, the divine feminine energy. So you have a choice here to really take this time to sit with yourself and really sit in a space of, and when I say with yourself, I'm not saying that you have to be completely isolated from people, but what I'm saying is like, as you're going into these spaces that you know are no longer in alignment with you, maybe it is time to say goodbye to these spaces. Maybe it is time to come to terms with these spaces, or that they're not what is in alignment with you anymore. Um, I've never really been like a clubbing person or whatever, but I was invited a few months ago and I went, and it was all cousins. Like, this was all cousins, not really friends. It was just a cousins group that got together. And I went because I wanted to spend time with my cousins. We had not hung out together since like the summer. So it was a nice way to get together. And the minute that I stepped into the nightclub, the energy, like the space in itself, I was like, ooh, this is not for me. This is not for me. And there was nothing wrong with it. Like, I was with loving people, with people like that support me and all of that stuff. But the environment itself is not, it's not something that has ever really spoken to my spirit, right? And I stayed the night, like, we stayed, we partied, whatever. And then I came home, and then a couple of weeks later, like, they were going back out, and I was like, no thanks. Like, when you guys do this, I'll come along. Like, that's not my environment, and there's nothing wrong with it. And like, we have another event coming up that is not like at a club and stuff like that. And it's like that's kind of like what you're being asked. Like, it is okay for you to respect your own boundaries and to really learn to use your voice in a way that is beneficial for you. I hope that makes sense. All right. That's all I have. Bye.